participating in that is going to lead to some real weird outcomes. But here's the thing. College numbers, it turns out, is just a bat signal for a much deeper problem. New data from Pew Research with pre-COVID data finds that men are now much more likely to be single than women. Now you might think, there's nothing wrong with that. Single days were fun after all. But on a societal-wide level, more single men has all sorts of downstream effects which are terrible. Listen to this, quote, "Single men are much more likely to be unemployed, financially fragile, to lack a college degree than those with a partner. They're likely to have lower median earnings. Single men earn less in 2019 than in 1990, even adjusting for inflation." You know what's even weirder? Single women are actually earning the exact same amount than they were 30 years ago. But those with partners are earning 50% more than previously. Something is uniquely happening amongst men that has made them not only more single, but actually making a lot less money. And it turns out...
Okay. Where he's going to go next is you guys need to get off your lazy fat asses. That's what it's going to be. This is the pit. Okay. So when we look at positivity hustlers, let's just say, I'm going to try to be as nice as I can be here. But when we look at positivity hustlers, they have it's the same sales pitch. Let's get up and go, guys. Come on. That's really what this amounts to, rather than looking at the symptoms or looking at the disease here. I'm not saying we have to go and repeal the 19th. That's not coming out of my mouth. But the fact still remains is that we live in a gynocentric social order that's probably served this guy very, very well up to this point, no doubt. Pandering and playing to it can be very profitable if you know how to game the system, let's just say. What we're not going to look at the circumstances that lead to these guys being where they're at right now. And we're not going to try to find any way to give these guys authority to be responsible once again. Tradcons always make that cardinal error. Oh, responsible. Men need to man up, blah, blah. Great. How do we do that? Can you give us the power to do that? Empower us to do that. Give us TV shows that show other guys doing this, stepping up and doing that. You're not going to see those on Netflix. That's not Squid Game. You're not going to see anything popular like that. You're not going to have a 50 Shades of Grey for guys who actually step up and actually master their worlds, because then they'll suddenly, like, did you see the reviews for The Duelists or The Last Duel? I think, yeah, The Last Duel. Oh, it's misogynistic and I can't believe it. Well, we actively work against that. On a societal level. We actively work against that and have been doing so really probably since before that. Now, the other thing here is I'm gonna channel my inner turd flinging monkey here and say, yeah, men who are married, men who are partnered, yeah, they make a whole lot more money and have been doing so. We have had this conversation over and over and over again. Yes, they make more money because they have to make more money. Otherwise, they wouldn't be partnered. That's the case. That's the whole thing. Well, women can't find economically attractive men. Yeah, of course they can't. Because it's not about, oh, I love this person, I don't care about that. It's not about this lovey-dovey romantic ideal. The romantic ideal only exists for men. It does not exist for women. Certainly not in a gynocentric social order. Well, men need to man up. Why? So they can do their duty. Well, what is that duty? Well, you've got to be acceptable and economically attractive for women. Define yourself by the gynocentric social order, not unlike the video that I just showed at the very beginning of this stream. Hate yourself, gaslight yourself, be what they want you to be. Lock yourself into that. Lock yourself into the ideal that if you can get that approach, make womankind your mental point of origin. Be better, guys. Okay, what's better? Do your duty. Okay, weak men don't do their duty. Strong men do their duty. Great. What's my duty? To make mama happy. That's what the duty is. And we don't, again, 20th century thinking. Actually, it's probably like 19th and 18th century thinking as well. Make mama happy. Old order expectations for you. New order entitlements for her. That's what it is.
That itself is a vicious feedback loop. People who are financially stable are much more likely to find and attract a partner. Look, it's not that people are gold diggers. They're not.
Then what are they? What are they? What are they, Cigar? What? That's not gold diggers. Yeah, well, they want what's best for them. Of course they do. We're always looking, we're human beings. We're looking for the best possible outcome. We're looking for the best possible options. Women are hypergamous, but it's not that men don't make comparisons. We do. We're human beings are very good at pattern recognition. We can get that. But the fact still remains is that he's really walking on eggshells here too, because by pointing out that women are looking for an economically attractive partner, all that romantic ideal, all that bullshit, all that the soulmate stuff flies right out the window. I can't fall in love with a sandwich artist. Why not? The romantic ideal says you should be able to, Shakespeare and Ovid and all these, romantic poets said that all you need is love, right? The Beatles saying that. No. Women are opportunistic in their approach to love. Men are idealistic. They believe that love should exist for the sake of it. Women will not allow themselves to become emotionally invested in a guy unless he checks off those boxes. Opportunism, that's as nice as I can put it. I know that there's a negative connotation with opportunism, ladies, but that's really what it's about. You got to meet this criteria, or I don't want a broke ass dude. I don't want that guy. Okay. Well, maybe you're not a gold. You know what the difference between gold diggers are and just average women? Gold diggers give away the game. Gold diggers are saying exactly what he's saying. Gold diggers just make it obvious. I don't think anybody even calls women gold diggers anymore, because pretty much, according to Twitter, and if you're on social media for any amount of time, you kind of get the idea. I mean, we're talking about like, oh, you got to be these guys. It's going to create a real big problem. Why? Well, because you're not economically attractive. You don't have the money. You can't support a family and 20th century. Why would that matter? I thought it was all about love. I thought we were all equal. I thought we should be equal partners, and that should be based on something other than, naked commercialism. What's funny about this whole thing is at least from my perspective in all of this is I have this sort of like, bird's eye view of, I'm seeing the forest for the trees here. At least I like to think I am. And really what the frustration is that they're seeing women's human nature, men's nature too, but women's nature. And we're trying to square the circle of, well, it should, we should marry for love, right? We don't want prearranged marriages. How is that any different than a prearranged marriage? Well, I want to find a guy who's economic. Okay, well, the prearrangement then is finding the guy who is economically attractive. I will only want a high value guy. Build our we can build a very profitable, lucrative podcast based on holding women accountable and high value men. Okay. Well, again, the reason why that is popular, the reason why people get off on the indignation that causes is because it's a conflict between understanding the visceral, evolved, innate nature of women versus the fantasy, versus the poetry, versus the romantic comedy. That's what it's about. And that's why they cannot square this circle, but they'll try. They will absolutely try.
It's a societal signal that you're able to provide and have a certain type of seriousness is really important.
Who cares? Who cares? Especially in a society that is a degenerate, quote unquote, like the guys who are like checking out anyways would probably agree with this. Who wants to participate in that? Who are you to tell me what my duty is? Because I see every day, courtesy of the internet, that it doesn't pay off. What is it? The juice isn't worth the squeeze. Sorry if that sounds black pill to you, but that's the way that these guys interpret this.
2017 Pew Research data found that 71% of US adults said that being able to support a family financially is very important for a man to be a good partner. Pretty much equal amongst men and women who said that. Only 25% in the other case, for both men and women, said the case was for a female partner. So like it or not, employment and earnings is pretty much tied to our dating and marriage market, if you were to say so.
He doesn't want to call it a market because that dehumanizes it, right? Take away because if you call it a market and you start getting into nuts and bolts, Aaron Clary, thank you very much. You get into nuts and bolts. Yeah, that's what it is. It's a rational, pragmatic decision. not love, not this. I don't know how many times I've said this in the past, but women fall in love for what you are, not who you are. Later on, they might fall in love with who you are, but when you first get involved with that woman, it's who you are. So when we again, I have to point this out, but when I see stuff like that, I can see the conflict as it happens live in real time. This guy's just agonizing over having to call it that because he can't do that he can't analyze, he can't call out the problem without calling out or without contending with the conflict. And he really probably has no idea that he's dealing with that conflict.